Picture this. You're sitting in your bathroom, most ordinary place in the world, when suddenly you're holding a human skull. Not in a museum, not in a horror film, but right there in your everyday space. What would you do? Scream? Drop it? Run? Carol Ann Duffy does something extraordinary. She sits there, she looks, she wonders. And slowly, something magical happens. The fear dissolves, and in its place comes tenderness. She begins to see not death, but a life that was lived, a story waiting to be discovered. This is the story of what happens when we stop running from death and start listening to what it might teach us about being alive. At first, she's surprised by how light it feels. Less than a deck of cards, she tells us. All our lives, we're taught that death is this heavy, overwhelming thing. But here's the first revelation. Maybe it's lighter than we think. Maybe we've been carrying around fear of something that's actually delicate. Then comes the playful moment. She imagines blowing into it like a musical instrument. Suddenly, this symbol of ending becomes something that could make music. Death as creativity rather than finality. But the sound it makes? A sigh. And there's something heartbreakingly human about that. So she does what women have done for centuries when faced with something fragile and abandoned. She begins to care for it, rinses it clean, dries it gently like a firstborn. The thing we're taught to fear most becomes something deserving of tenderness, protection, love. But here's where the real story begins. As she examines this skull more closely, she starts to read it like Braille. Every mark, every scar tells a story. I see the scar where I fell for sheer love down treacherous stairs. Someone lived in this body. Someone loved so desperately they literally fell. Someone experienced joy, pain, passion, heartbreak. All the messy, beautiful complexity of being human. It's all still there, written in bone. And here's the moment that changes everything. She starts talking to it. Love, she whispers, then louder. Then finally the recognition that transforms fear into connection. This is a friend of mine. Not a memento mori reminding us we'll die. Not a gothic prop for horror. A friend. Someone who has walked this path of being human and can maybe, if we listen carefully, teach us something about how to do it better. Think about our world now. We filter our photos to look younger, avoid nursing homes, change the subject when someone mentions death. We've created this massive conspiracy of denial around the one thing that connects every human who ever lived. But what if Duffy's right? What if, instead of seeing death as the enemy of life, we saw it as life's most intimate companion? What if those scars, those wrinkles, those signs of having lived and loved and lost? What if they're not flaws to hide, but stories to honor?